Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you about cloud computing, specifically more on the risks that are involved in cloud computing and some of the countermeasures that we can do to help secure cloud computing. So I'm going to talk objectives. We'll give a high-level cloud overview or definition. Again, some security issues around cloud platform and countermeasure proposals. A simple cloud computing definition involves delivering different types of services over the internet, from software and analytics to secure and safe data storage and networking resources. Everything can be delivered via the cloud. So basically, anything you think of these days, you can put in the cloud. You can have your whole infrastructure, you can have software, you can design and build even programs. When you look at cloud models, specifically service models, there seems to be three that come up. You have your software as a service, your platform as a service, and your infrastructure as a service. The software as a service allows your business to quickly access cloud-based web applications without committing to installing new infrastructure. The applications run on the vendor's cloud, which they, of course, control and maintain. The applications are available for use with a paid license, subscription, or free with limited access. Uh, Software as a service does not require any installation or downloads in your existing infrastructure, which in turn eliminates the need to install, maintain, and update applications on each of your computers. So basically, you put your applications out on the internet. The company maintains it. You connect to that application, which is external um, to you. Another model is the platform as a service. This is where your business can develop and run applications because the vendor is hosting the cloud infrastructure, which supports the platform. Um, Platform as a service eliminates your need to install in-house hardware or software. Your business would not manage or control the underlying cloud infrastructure, but you would maintain control over the deployed applications, unlike with software as a service. So basically, you can build with it. You can design an application that's out in the cloud for your company. The last one we'll talk about is infrastructure as a service. It's the most flexible of the cloud models. It allows your business to have complete, scalable control of the management and customization of your infrastructure. In the infrastructure model, the cloud provider hosts your infrastructure components that would traditionally be present uh, on site in your own data center, such as a server, storage, networking hardware, etc. Your business, however, would maintain control over operating the systems, storage, deployed applications, and possibly limited control or select networking components, i.e., hosts, firewalls. So, with cloud computing, it's become extremely popular, uh, especially over the last few years. And most organizations are seriously looking into cloud computing and services to either cut down on cost, also to benefit greatly from the new alternatives and opportunities that were not available in the past. With these new opportunities around cloud computing, there are risks involved. And there are many risks, and I'm sure you can think of more risks than I may even have on this presentation. But I'll go over some of the ones that came to mind, the ones that are you see out there more often than none. Loss of control. So you have to understand, if you're putting, say, like if software as a service out in the cloud, you lose all control of that particular applications. Other types of loss of control, you lose in some instances loss of control of your physical data, how you authenticate, security management, policies around that, and network management. Another risk is abuse and nefarious use of cloud computing. Attackers can get into a public cloud or infiltrate a public cloud. For example, find a way to upload malware to thousands of computers and use the power of the cloud infrastructure to attack other machines. So if they were to get into this cloud infrastructure, whoever clients that are possibly connected to this cloud provider, it could infiltrate your entire network. Malicious insiders. This is something we certainly can't control as a customer. Many of the providers out there, they don't reveal how they hire employees, how they grant them access to the assets, or even how they monitor them. So it's a must. Transparency is vital to the cloud offerings. Again, the customer has no reason to be involved per se into the hiring of someone, an employee, for that cloud provider. So again, if someone is malicious on the inside of that cloud provider, they can certainly do lots of damage to your network. Data loss and leakage. This is a huge problem that could be a major risk in cloud computing. We think about backups. Is someone deleting the backup? What are their restore policies around backups or loss of data? Data being just lost some randomly way or even stolen. So whether it's stolen from an inside threat or even a external threat that's infiltrated the network. And then again, it goes along to unauthorized access. Does someone have access to your data who is a hacker that comes from external, or is someone inside who has more privileged access than they need and are on your data doing bad things with it? As I continue here, the next slide is just a few more risks around cloud computing. Insecure APIs or interfaces. It's a set of software that customers use to interact with the cloud provider. Authentication, access control, encryption, and activity monitoring. These interfaces must be designed to protect against accidental and malicious attempts to circumvent policy. And we will discuss some countermeasures around this in the next few slides. And then you can think of all kind of other attacks that could pose a major risk in cloud computing. And I named some here that we certainly, most of us know what they are, but man in the middle, sniffer attacks, denial of service, a SQL injection, and even someone who is able to use just a phishing attack on that cloud service provider's email system and be able to use or obtain passwords and credentials to that network, who then has access to your network in the cloud. So many risks involved that you should be aware of before you even choose or talk to a cloud provider. Now we're going to look at some of the countermeasures that are available that we can take action in from our side, or make sure that the service provider is doing on their part. So we talked about loss control and the one of the risk categories. So I put on here, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Maybe is it possible to put some of your data with one cloud service provider and then some of it with a different service provider? I don't know. It's a question. If you can do that, it might be a good thing to do. And question the provider I have here on all their policies. What are their downtime procedures? What are their recovery procedures for if you were to go down? Ask the provider to allow you to some few times of looking at their monitoring data. So basically allow you to look at how they monitor that data. Abuse and nefarious use of cloud computing. We talked about that as a risk. A provider should have the following. IDS, intrusion detection system, or IDPS, intrusion detection protection system. Firewalls that inspect both incoming and outgoing traffic. Have cloud monitoring in place and balancing tools. Strong fraud prevention services, especially around financial services. So these are just some of the things that you have to look for and make sure if they're going to get your business that you totally it's okay to ask these questions and ask for proof of what they have. Malicious insiders require transparency into overall information security and management policies that they have in place, as well as compliance reporting. And you can, as a client, set up a client-side encryption gateway where you control the key encryption as a client. Again, it's crucial about it's crucial around transparency, and if they really want your business, they should be able to answer all these questions. Um, Countermeasures around data loss and leakage. Demand, put in your contract that, you must see backup and retention policies. Ask if the data is encrypted in transit. Contractually, again, ask that all media is wiped after taking out of rotation. That's something easy, but think about as the company, cloud provider, goes and switches out a hard drive, and you need to know, what do they do with that old hard drive? How do they wipe it clean? Is it a safe wipe where it takes everything off? And then how do they dispose of it? If it got into the wrong hands of someone with data still on it, there could be lots of serious issues that could come around that. And as we continue around countermeasures, insecure APIs or interfaces I listed as a risk. Again, analyze the security model of the provider's interfaces. Ensure strong authentication and access controls are implemented with encrypted transmission. And then I talk a little bit again about the other attacks. The cloud provider should have the same technology as you as a client in place. And what I mean by that, if you have intrusion detection systems in place, they certainly should have intrusion detections in place. Um, Everybody has firewalls, but make sure there's strong protocols in place around those firewalls. Uh, Secure communication with encryption, sniffing detection platform in place. Uh, Again, so all these aren't 100% foolproof, and it's going to stop every incident we have. But I can certainly say that if your cloud provider has some of these countermeasures in place, it certainly will help alleviate the problem, with data getting into the wrong hands. So it's super important that before you go and, if you're going to go the cloud way, before you go to that provider and sign the dotted line on a contract, that you're aware of all of the risk and even the countermeasures that go along, so you can knowledgeably ask these questions when you're searching out a cloud provider. Um, and just for you to look at it, these are some of the references I've used as I've done this presentation and talked to you today. And I'll say thank you very much for your time. I hope you learned a little bit more about some risk around cloud computing and providers. And then I also hope you learn some countermeasures around it, so you can be prepared to know what to look for when you go searching for that cloud provider. Always, as I put here on my last quote, always get the answers you want before signing up with any cloud service provider. And I think you'll benefit in the long run. Again, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, you certainly can reach out to me in the forum, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.